don't know what I'm doing. Sit down here. All right. Short and sweet to the point. This is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Um, Not a whole lot of words left to be said except the final two number one seeds stand tonight. Florida, who a lot of people around here have been already had the nets cut down since they won the SEC championship. And you got Houston and overlooked, the most overlooked number one seed out there. And they're going to get it on tonight at 9 o'clock for the NCAA championship. Um, as you know, both teams have been to the Final Four a number of times. Florida went back to back in was 06, 07. I know they lost the championship against Michigan State in 2000. Now they come back tonight. I think they went to the Final Four one other time. Houston, this is their seventh trip, and they've lost to the best team a couple of times. I know they lost to UCLA in the 60s. They lost to Georgetown in 84. They got upset by NC State in 83. And I think a couple of years ago, the year that Baylor won it, they were in the Final Four then, and now they come back. I said before that Duke was the best team, and Duke is the best team. Um, but Houston, they pull off a miracle comeback a la Florida, and they were able to get past the Blue Devils. And I had said before that the second game, which was the Duke Houston game, that whoever won that game was going to win the championship, primarily because of the stories. I told you that Duke was the best team all year, and if anybody was going to beat them or had a chance to beat them, it was going to have to be Houston. Only because Houston, fate eventually is going to turn around on you. You can't keep going to the Final Four, keep getting there and lose. Eventually, the odds are going to be in your favor, and you're going to win. And I think now is the time for Houston to get by those demons that they've had Final Fours past and finally climb the mountain. And they're in that position now. And even though Florida's been pulling off these miracle comebacks, the way that Houston has their heart down the stretch, it's going to be awfully tough for Clayton to duplicate what he's done the last couple of games to get himself into this championship position. JC, how you doing, man? Um, Talking about this Houston Florida matchup. It's going to be a heavyweight fight. Florida, they're going to try to hang around and try to pull it out like they've been doing. But did you see the look of determination on Houston's face as it got closer to them being ticked out of existence? Duke, uncharacteristically, they went on a scoring drought at the wrong time. I've seen that happen before. The last time I seen that happen in the Final Four or a championship game was that 2005? Houston and not Houston, but Illinois and North Carolina. Illinois didn't score the first 5 minutes of the first half, and they didn't score the first 5 minutes of the second half, and that eventually cost them the game. And it cost Duke the game. He went on a drought at the wrong time. Some of that is good defense. Some of it is just missed shots, and that's the way basketball is at times. You can make the greatest move in the world, but if the shot rims out, then you just missed, and that's just the way it goes. And unfortunately for Duke, who I thought was the best team, they were beating Houston at their own game, and to lose like that, it has to be absolutely crushing. But again, you get one shot. They had their one shot to take out Houston. They didn't do it. Houston showed major heart in coming back down the stretch, and they did it on the defensive end. The same thing they've been doing all year long. So expect Houston to be there in the end. The question is, will Florida be there in the end? And if they do, what chance does Clayton have of getting off to try to steal a game like he's done the last couple games in this NCAA tournament? All right. Duke went up double digits, and Houston's defense and scoring was determined. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But Houston, they can't fall behind like that. They're going to have to slow the game down and beat up Florida the way that they did Duke. And I think that they won't make the same mistakes to fall too far behind like they did against um, Duke. But Florida, I think if they were to get up on Houston, it's going to be a lot tougher for them to come back. But somebody's storyline is going to end tonight. They're very similar. in the way that they've gotten here to this point, and somebody's going to be off script tonight, and whoever gets off script the most, that's going to determine who your winner is. Now, yesterday we saw the other championship game, the women. Um, Kind of went like the first game went. Um, they blew out South Carolina in Columbia, and yesterday I was kind of expecting to see the same thing, and that's exactly what happened. 2XO squad, how you doing? Um, it all comes down to determination. How much are you willing to put on the line to try to win a championship? And you can see it on Connecticut's faces. You can see the way that they played all throughout the tournament. Matter of fact, I did a comparison. I saw the North Carolina and West Virginia game. At the same time they were playing, UConn was playing against South Dakota State, I believe it was. And the way that they were putting shots online, they weren't shooting the air balls like what they were doing over in the other game. And it just seemed like a different approach, a different style of play as opposed to everybody else. They actually looked like some of those dominant UConn teams from 10, 12 years ago. Um, they're efficient. They were doing those backdoor cuts. They was hitting those shots. They were taking away what the other team wanted to do. They just seemed a step ahead of everybody the whole tournament. And South Carolina, as good as they have been, they just couldn't keep up with UConn. Now, South Carolina will be back. That one, Ashley Watkins, she'll be back. She had that ACL injury, and that kind of slowed South Carolina down a little bit. But she's been gone a while, so I'm not saying that's the reason why they lost. But I'm saying she makes a big difference, and if she was there, the game could have been a lot closer. But that girl Az Fudd, dangerous man. Um, she's going to be the next great UConn player, and I don't see why she would want to leave UConn once you win a championship. Um, Even though with all this transfer stuff going on, it doesn't seem to make sense for you to move around if you're already to the point where you're winning championships and making money to boot. Why leave? I wasn't surprised UConn won, but I was surprised how they blew out South Carolina. Um, Not really. You shouldn't be surprised at that because, again, they blew them out early in the season. And if you notice, there are always a lot more rematches on the women's side than there are men's. And um, South Carolina and USC and UConn, all these teams that they play in the tournament, they probably seen them somewhere before. So this was a rematch. The UConn USC game was a rematch. And I think they played UCLA beforehand also. So all these teams are familiar with each other. And if you look back at the scores, how they played the first game usually is an indication of how the second game is going to go. Even with Texas. Texas played USC. That was the fourth time when they played them in the Final Four. They played them twice during the regular season. They played them in the SEC tournament, and then they played in the Final Four. The first game, South Carolina blew them out. Then when they played at Austin, that's when Texas won the game. You know, I guess they were driven by the crowd or pushed by the crowd, however you want to see that. But I always had a theory about basketball teams that can't play on the road. If you can't play on the road, then I don't think you're a very good team. And you see it all the time in the NBA. Uh, they'll play a great 6 game series, and then we'll come down to the final game to determine who moves on or who wins the championship. That home team usually blows out that visiting team. And I could never figure out why is that the case. So they all depended on the home court advantage to advance. And in Texas case, they needed home court to get by South Carolina. But the time that they played at Columbia, they got blown out. They played on a neutral site in the tournament, SEC tournament, and got blown out. And they got blown out again at the Final Four. So Texas is clearly a team that needs that home court advantage to play with a top-notch team like South Carolina. And unfortunately for them, you don't get that in the NCAA tournament. So I'm not surprised at all that UConn blew them out because it's a mirror image of what took place the first game. Um, I think that girl Pow Pow, if you close out on a shot, she's going to miss an awful lot of them. And South Carolina, again, is a good program. They just sometimes you be in the wrong place, and that's just the way things go. Well, I'm not going to answer that. Red zone. You want to be a jerk? I could be a jerk too. So how about that? Chump. I don't know what that is. I did choose one. Whatever that is. I don't know. All right. Just had an old troll here. I guess he got nothing else to do early in the morning but come harass me. Yeah, I'm an egghead. Got a lot of brains in this egg. What about you? Um, but anyway, I expect tonight to be an epic heavyweight fight. And I expect this to be an epic heavyweight fight. And I still think that Houston, this is their time to win it all. So I'm going to stick with my prognostication that whoever wins between Duke and Houston was going to cut the nets down. And I don't see how Florida's going to be able to pull that rabbit out of the hat for the fourth straight game. Um, Odds are going to be against it. But either way, it's going to look like fate is playing a hand on whoever wins this particular game. But what do you guys think? I couldn't put the poll question up today because I hit the wrong setup. Because I hit the wrong setup, I cannot get the poll question to come up. It's set up for a guest to come in. And if I had copied the link, I will put it in the description so that any of you guys want to chime in, you could have came in and talked to us online here. All right. Louis Toussaint says, how are you? I'm fine, Louis. I hadn't seen you in about a week or two. I hope everything's going well with you. Tune in tonight, man. It's going to be a epic battle between Florida and Houston. I'm not sure they played before, but in basketball, somewhere down the line they've met before. Florida has been a decent basketball program, pretty much 35, 40 years. They haven't been the greatest in a lot of times, but they've been real great, and now they're playing great right now. But I can go all the way back to the '80s when they had Vernon Maxwell and Andrew Moten. They called it the Eminem backcourt. Both those guys were from the general Gainesville area. One from Ocala, and the other was from Gainesville, and I was in the late '80s. So that's how uh, long I've been following or knowing of Florida basketball, and they've had some pretty good teams. And the fact that they won the two championships, that's kind of like validation of the kind of athletes that have gone through that program. So it's going to be a good one. Uh, Drew said, you got Florida? I don't think so. I'm going with Houston. And it's time for Houston to win one. Florida's got two. Congratulations. But tonight, I think they're going to find themselves in the wrong place. And I'm not predicting a blowout, but they're going to find a way to clamp down on Mr. Clayton. And if you think he's going to pull it out late like he's been doing, I don't see it happening. Um, Down here in Florida with him, but I've never been a big Gator guy. Um, don't have anything against them, not rooting against them, but I just think that Houston's a better team, and I expect Houston to win this game. Chris, how you doing, man? I ain't seen you in about a week. Everything's cool this way, man. About to wrap this up. Been talking about Houston and Florida in this big game tonight. A lot of people down this way already had Florida cutting the nets down a couple weeks ago, but it's a whole lot of basketball to be played. No, they weren't supposed to beat Duke. I don't think Cooper Flag choked. I think they called the wrong play. I think the offense needed to go through Cooper Flag, but it needed to kick it out to the other guy, the guy from Wisconsin. I always forget his name. Start with a K. I would have ran a play from him through Flag, and I think that would have had a better chance than what Cooper Flag did with that fadeaway shot he had. Even though it was a good look, it just wasn't Duke. It wasn't meant for Duke to win that game. That's just all it is to it. But if you're talking about Houston wasn't supposed to be there, what about all the times that Florida got lucky? Um, Texas Tech may tell you the same thing. They weren't supposed to get by them either. So it's luck of the draw, luck of the bounce. Right now, Florida's getting it. Houston got it the other night. But you play the game, and you got 40 minutes to do whatever it is you're going to do. And that's just the way it is. Drew says, don't jinx my parlay. Man, don't get me started on those parlays. I played one the other night, and I had Klay Thompson, and he had to get 15 points for me to win. and he's sitting right on 14 um, midway through the third quarter. For whatever reason, he didn't score again. Why is that? Did they put him on the bench? Did he get hurt? As far as I know, Dallas was trying to jockey for a playoff position, and I don't understand why you would put your better players on the bench. And it's ironic that they go to the bench when they're right on the line to get whatever it is you need to get. Um, I've noticed that a lot of times, and I don't think it's by coincidence anymore. Something's going on, and it stinks. So that's just my take on that. But I don't want to digress on that. I got to get off the horn. I got on a little bit late. But Drew Austin, stick with your parlays, man. The ones that you think are not going to win, those be the ones that win, man. Um, but I can't do it. I think I'm gonna give it up. Uh, it's just not in it for me. Uh, Guy last night, what's the name? Klingon. I had him with 8 rebounds. He had 8 rebounds at halftime. Didn't get another rebound the rest of the game. Why not? How you dominate for one half and all of a sudden you can't get a rebound the next half? Don't make sense to me. Um, I think they all paid off. To be honest with you, it's already scripted about what you're gonna get. Make it look good so you can get the numbers up. Then you put your money down, and you don't win anything. Uh, I have no idea. I'd be the last one, Drew, to ask about that gambling stuff because I'm not good at it. Number one, two, I'm not heavy into it, and I don't understand that. But I do. I think if you're talking about, I think it's going to be under 140 tonight if that's what you're asking me. So, uh, but anyway, you guys have a great day. I got to get up out of here, man. Bell's about to ring. Got to deal with these kids. It's going to be a great day. I can feel it. Got a doubleheader in baseball scheduled today. So hopefully that goes off without a hitch. No rainouts. So let's pray for that. So I appreciate you guys chiming in with me. And hopefully I can come in live tonight during the game and do some commentary. Join me for that, man, so we can talk about what's taking place in this national championship game. It's going to be a good one. So wherever you are in the world, have a great day. Appreciate you chiming in. Like, subscribe. And if I don't see you tonight, I'll definitely see you in the morning. So have a great day. I'm out.